Okay, so for this second discussion, we will have two parts. The first one is the atomic structure. The part two would be the electron configuration topic. So for the atomic structure, we will have to discuss the history of atomic theory, how atoms are made, how are atoms as described, and what is now the modern atom? What are those subparticles, or what are those particles that are inside an atom, which are your protons, neutrons, and of course your electrons. And you will also discuss your isotopes. So the human body are composed of different elements as well as their compounds. Like for example, we comprise most of the oxygen, carbon, and hydrogen elements in our body. And we also contain nitrogen as well other elements and compounds in our body. So which are elements are also called as what we call an atom, which is already the single unit of a matter. So we'll be talking about different histories of atomic theory. Okay, so our first proponent is Democritus. So he is the one that theorized the existence of tiny indivisible particles. When you say indivisible, not be seen or cannot be seen in the naked eye. So, for example, on a piece of paper, if you cut it in half, then cut again and again and again and again and again and so on, there will be a time that you cannot cut it. So that part is already called as an atom. That's why atomos, other name for this one, or the English name for atomos is what we call not to cut. So it simply means that matter, there will always be a time that you cannot cut it, and that is what we call atomos. So there are different foundations leading to our modern atomic theory. First one is by Antoine Lavoisier, which is the law of conservation of mass. So it means that mass is neither created nor destroyed in chemical reactions. Mass is what we call being conserved. For example, um, carbon dioxide that is in air, present in air, the weight of oxygen is always 16 grams. So the oxygen in your carbon, it is always 16 grams. However, the carbon dioxide that is released when you exhale, ini-exhale lang lungs natin. So the oxygen here is also 16 grams. So therefore, whatever the source of these elements or of these compounds is, mass will always be the same. So it is being conserved. Another example, reactions such as this one. Carbon monoxide reacting with lead oxide. The oxygen mass here is 16 grams. The oxygen mass here is also 16 grams per mole. And when these two compounds react, they result to carbon dioxide and also lead. And oxygen in carbon dioxide, these both has a mass of still 16 grams per mole. So again, this mass is being conserved. It will never be created nor destroyed in chemical reactions. Okay. Number two, we have Joseph Proust, which he stated the law of definite proportions. It is a given chemical compound that always contains its component elements in a fixed ratio by mass and does not depend on its source and methods of preparation. So, when two elements combine to form a given compound, they always do so in a fixed proportion. For example, carbon plus an oxygen gas yielding here a carbon dioxide. If the amount of carbon is on the first trial, the amount of carbon here is 15 grams. And the amount of oxygen on the first trial is around 40.05. And the amount of product is around 55.05 grams. We have another second trial. The amount of carbon that we measure is around siguro 2 grams, mas mababa. We have here oxygen around 5.34 grams. And the product release, which is carbon dioxide, it only has 734 grams. So, a law of definite proportion is that when we compute the percentage of each element with regards to the um product, it is the same in all of the trials. For example, percentage ng first trial natin, which is carbon, our carbon will have here 15 grams with regards to the result ng ating product na carbon dioxide. 55.05 grams times 100. So, it will lead us to siguro 27.2%. Okay. Oxygen naman natin, try natin on the second trial. So, it has 40.05 grams divided by the product, which is 55.05 grams times 100. Huwag kakalimutan. So, we would have 72.8%. Okay. 72.8 plus 27.2%, these two are 100%. And if we calculate the same with the second trial that we have, so for the second trial, carbon is 2 grams over the product, which is 7.34 grams, times 100, it will also result to 27.2. Okay, percent. Same as well with oxygen. 5.34, this one, divided by the product, 7.34 grams, times 100 is equal to 72.8%. As you can see, both of the trials, carbon and the second trial, carbon, they both have 27.2%. Same as well with oxygen. That leads to 72.8%. So it means when two elements combine to form a given compounds, they always do so in a fixed proportion. So law of definite proportion states that the compound always contain the same element in the same percentage by mass. Okay, another one, law of multiple proportion by Dalton. If two elements form more than one compound, then the ratios of masses of the second element, which combined with the fixed mass of first element, will always be ratios of small whole numbers. For example, so again, when you have two elements that are combined to form more than one compound, the masses of one element, which combined with a fixed mass of another element, are in ratios of small whole numbers such as 1 is to 1, 1 is to 2, 2 is to 3. For example, see hydrogen and oxygen, when they are being combined, they can form water. They can also form hydrogen peroxide or CH2O2. So, the mass or ratio ng ating, for example, oxygen here and oxygen here is what we call 1:2. Okay, so please remember that. About hydrogen here, it is 1:1. So, these are multiple proportions in different elements that can form different compounds. Okay, so John Dalton, he collected all of the existing theories about the existence of the atoms. So, first one, elements are made of extremely small particles, which are indivisible, called atoms, which he got from Democritus. Number two, atoms of a given element are identical in size and other properties, but atoms, of course, of different elements such as hydrogen, fluorine, they will always differ in size, mass, and other properties. Ibig sabihin, oxygen and another oxygen, identical atoms of elements, both of them have an identical in size, mass, and other properties as well. Atoms cannot be subdivided, created, nor destroyed. Number four, atoms of different elements combine in simple whole ratios to form chemical compounds. And number five, in chemical reactions, atoms are combined, separated, or just rearranged, but not destroyed. Dalton's theory is essentially correct, so modern discoveries allowed for the modification of his postulate, such as not all atoms have the same mass. Atoms can transform from one element to another. The composition of solid compounds is variable and atoms are divisible in some cases. So we have different parts of your atom. So inside of your atom, there is what we call a protons, which is always positive. The one who discovered protons is Ernest Rutherford. Electrons was discovered by J.J. Thomson. Neutrons was discovered by James Chadwick. So later we will discuss how these three subatomic particles are discovered by our proponents. Okay? So by the way, the whole charge of an atom is actually 0. Please remember this is important. Proton charge is always positive. Electron charge is always negative. Neutron charge is always 0. And one of the rule, protons is always equal to the number of electrons. So therefore, kung meron kang 6 protons plus 6 electrons, of course, a positive plus a negative value, it will lead you at 0 charge. But since you also have your neutrons, for example, you have neutrons that are also, siguro sabihin natin, 7 neutrons. Since neutrons has a 0 charge, 0 and another 0 charge, it will make your whole atom as a 0 charge. So the first discovery of subatomic particle is by Joseph John Thomson. Tandaan, wala hong P ito, Thomson. Walang P. Tandaan po yan sa exam. So, he proved that atoms of elements can be made to emit tiny negative particles. He knew that the atoms did not have a negative charge and so there must be a balancing negative charge. In 1910, he proposed what we call the plum pudding model, which the atom contains all of negative charges, which are called the electrons. Negative electrons were embedded into a positively charged cloud. Okay, so what is the experiment of J.J. Thomson? So This is what we call the cathode ray tube. So, in a tube, he bombarded with a high voltage, these cathode rays, in where there is a placement of magnet in the middle. There is a positive and negative part. He found out that this rays, when it passes through the magnet, when it close, pag malapit doon sa positive side ng magnet, it attracts upward. However, if it closes to the negative side of a magnet, it still goes upward. Diba? Rules of magnet, positive, positive repels, negative, negative repels. Means same side repels, but the opposite side attracts. So whatever the position is, close man to the positive side of the magnet, yung rays natin, it goes upward. It means that it attracts. What attracts a positive, it means it is a negative charge. If it closes to the negative side of magnet natin, it repels. It goes upward also. So, if it goes the opposite side, pa-up siya, nag-repel, what repels? A negative, a same sign also. Therefore, confirming that our atoms of elements can emit what we call negative charges. That's why he proposed the model of an atom, which is called the plum pudding model, where the whole atom contains, he called as electron, may titag niyang negatively charged particle. Okay, so that's the first one po. He bombarded cathode rays inside the cathode ray tube. When it passes through a magnet, when it closes to the positive side, it goes up, it attracts. What attracts a positive side? Negative. Another one, another rays passes through the magnet. If it goes closely to the negative side of a magnet, it goes upward, it repels. What repels a negative side of a magnet? Same sign then. Therefore, confirming that elements contains negatively charged particle called what? Electrons. Okay, next. So we have what we call now the positively charged particles, which is called our protons. Our proponent here is Ernest Rutherford. So he is the one who made the gold foil experiment. So he have here a source of an alpha particles, which are positively charged particles. Okay. He bombarded these alpha particles in a gold foil. So he found out that if the atom only contains negative, positive yung ating alpha, which is being shooted or bombarded to our gold foil atom or atom ng gold dun sa gold foil, positive, negative attracts. Therefore, all of the alpha particles should passes through. However, there is a time when he shoot these alpha particles, something bounce back. Okay, as you can see here, when it hits something, it bounce back. Okay, passes through and something hits to bounce back. Okay, if your alpha is a positively charged, what makes it bounce back or repel? Therefore, another same sign, kung it is positive, same sign, positive. That's why nagkaroon siya ng idea that an atom also contain a positively charged particle, which we called now as a proton. So now that we have what we call protons, we also have what we call electrons. Okay. James Chadwick, um, he weigh the mass of an atom. For example, the mass of atom is around, siguro sabihin natin 1 grams per mole. Okay? And he also measured the mass of the proton that inside that atom and the mass of electron that is also inside the atom. However, he find out that the mass of protons plus the mass of electrons is not equal to the mass of the whole atom. It is less than actually. The mass of protons and the mass of electrons is less than the mass of a whole atom. So therefore, kung kulang yung measurement ng protons and electrons to the mass of the overall atom, there must be something inside our atom, okay, which has a mass but doesn't have a charge. Kasi kulang eh, 'di ba? Kung ang laman ng isang atom ay protons at electrons lang, therefore, the mass of protons plus electrons should be equal the overall mass of an atom. However, it on his experiment, it is not equal. That's why he proposed what we call the neutrons, which has a mass but no charge. Okay? So there are actually failures of classical physics that are explained in three phenomena. Such as heated solids problem. This one, hindi ko na masyadong i-discuss. Parang why solids emit radiation. So the one who solved the problem for that ay si Mark Knox. The photoelectric effect na nasolve ni Einstein, and of course, line spectra solved by Bohr. Why there are elements that can emit photons, o yung tatawag natin light. Example for that, fireworks. So, pag sinindihan yung fireworks, which comprises different elements as well as compounds. Why does it emit photons, o yung tatawag natin light? Okay? So, ang i-discuss lang natin for this is si Niels Bohr. So, Niels Bohr idea is the early quantum theory mystery such as the light spectra. So, emission spectrum, this is what we call emission spectrum. That can be produced by a very hot gas with a particular frequency. So our elements subjected in a very hot temperature, it has a certain frequency that will produces what we call photons, na tinatawag nating light. Okay, so this has been observed why vapor lamp before contain sodium. There are also vapor lamp that is made by mercury. There is mercury inside the lamp. And other gases that emits light such as neon. Neon emits light. So ginagamit din siya before. Even now, ginagamit siyang lights, kagaya ng mga light stick na mayroong neon. Why does it emits photons and of course light? So, yun ang tinatawag nating line spectra. Okay? Why? Because these elements are being heated to a very high temperature. At a certain frequency, they could produce light or photons. So, later, di-discuss natin ng mas maigi. So electrons orbit the nucleus that represent specific quantities of energy. the energies of the electrons in the atoms are actually quantized. Only certain electrons orbits energy are allowed. Okay? So, for example, I have a sodium metal. When it is heated at a very high temperature, it goes to what we call excitation state. So, there are different energy levels for each of the element. For example, this one. Energy level number 1, energy level number 2, and energy level number 3. If the last electron of sodium is on the energy level number 2, when it is heated, tandaan, the keyword here is it must be heated. Next, when your electrons are heated, the last electron on a certain energy level goes to what we call excitation state. What do you mean excitation state? From its original position, it will go to the higher energy level. So, yun ang sinasabing excitation state. And it automatically drops down again to its lower energy level or pwede ding original position. Ang tawag dito, when it drops down, this is excitation from a lower, upward, higher, lower. Ang tawag naman siya ay ground state. So when it goes back to the ground state or a lower position or original position, it now produces what we call photons. Why? Because it releases so much energy. And the release of that energy produces photons o yung certain light color na tinatawag. Okay? So, another example. Kunwari, chlorine. Kunwari lang ha, for example. Heat siya. Okay? Then, and then, another example. Okay, so let's have lithium na lang pala, sorry. Lithium. So let's have lithium as an example. It is being heated. For example, the electrons of lithium is on the first energy level. Second one, it goes to excitation state because of heat. Pumunta siya sa number 3, a higher energy level. Then it automatically goes to ground state. So here, as you can see, sa number 3 agad siya. Pwede siya pumunta sa number 2, lower, or to its original position. Okay, so now for 4, release of photons sa tinatawag. And the color, for example, yellow ba, blue ba, orange ba, depends on the ground state. Okay, so each ground state position has different frequency. For example, ang excitation niya ay nasa number 3, then the ground state sa energy level number 2, ibang color yan. Okay? Kasi ibang frequency siya. Pero kung energy level number 3, na ground state pabalik sa original position, ibang frequency din yan. Ibang color din po yan. Okay? So again, the color depends on the frequency and frequency depends to the ground state position. Kung lower level lang ba or kung sa original place niya. Okay? So that is the idea of Niels Bohr in why most of the metals actually can emit light. So this is the application of our flame test in the next meeting. Okay? So we will see why they are different metals that produces color when it is being heated. What is the idea of excitation state? What is the idea of ground state? And why it releases photons. So, ito po actually ang answer for that. Okay? So, we also have another proponent, which is Erwin Schrödinger. He used mathematical equation to describe the likelihood of finding an electron in the retained position. Before that, we have the proponent, which is Werner Heisenberg. He realized that there is an uncertainty principle of our atom. Okay? Uncertainty principle of electron in an atom. Okay? So it means electrons cannot be determined its precise both of its precise location and its momentum. When you say momentum, the direction of its movement. Okay, saan papunta? Pa left ba, pa right, pa taas, pa baba ng atom. So that is the problem with electrons in an atom. There is an uncertainty principle. One, if we could accurately measure momentum, okay, you accurately measure the direction of an electron in an atom, you cannot determine its final location na tinatawag. Okay? Next, if you can locate the electron, the position of an electron, it is hard to find the momentum or where your electron will go or where is the movement or direction of an electron. So, that is what we call uncertainty principle. That's why Erwin Schrödinger, he is the one to propose what we call SPTF. Okay? So, electrons that are on an s orbital, electrons are only moving in a circle position. Okay? P orbital, they are moving here on a dumbbell position. So, nandito lang sa part na to at nandito lang sa part na to. And D orbital, as you can see here, clover-like. So, they are moving in this type of position. Okay? So, for the F orbital, mas complicated yung shape ng F orbitals natin. So, there are actually different shapes of F orbitals such as this one. May another F orbital na ang shape din ay merong green. Okay, so the movement in F orbitals are on these locations only. Okay, same as well as this one. Okay, so that is how Schrödinger resolved the uncertainty principle by Heisenberg. So next is that the parts of our modern atom. Okay, so your proton are inside the nucleus. Neutron as well is inside the nucleus. Outside our nucleus is only the electrons. Okay, that's why the location of electrons in an atom is harder to find because it has much larger space. And as you can see here, The mass of neutron is almost equal to the mass of protons as well. Magkasing bigat sila. Okay? So atoms here are represented by either atomic number or mass number. So atomic number also means number of protons. Kung 6 ang atomic number, 6 din ang protons natin. Tatandaan po yan. Okay? And also, protons is always equal to the number of electrons. Therefore, atomic number is equal to protons is equal to electrons. Kung 6 ang atomic number, 6 ang protons, 6 din ang number of electrons natin. So please remember that. How about neutrons? How do we find neutrons? Okay? So neutrons can be found by using the mass number. So by the way, mass number is equal to protons plus your neutron number. Or since proton also means atomic number plus number of neutrons is equal to mass number. So using this equation, mass number equals to protons plus neutrons. So to get your neutrons, it is just simply mass number minus the number of your protons. You now have your neutrons. So ganun lang po kasimple to get your number of neutrons. For example, this one. The number of electrons is 29. So, since 29 ang electrons, write natin yung same amount such as electrons is equal to protons, so 29. Also equal to atomic number, which is also 29. Okay. Next, the number of neutrons given here is 35. Neutrons is 35. How do you get your atomic number? So, again, this is equal to protons, which is also 29. How do you get your mass number? So, it is just protons plus neutrons, which is 29 plus 35, which is equating to a mass number of 64. Let's have another example. For example, neon has an atomic number of 10 and also a mass of 20. That is your only given. Okay, by the way, the up position number is a mass number. The down position is atomic number. Okay. For example, you have a neon that has atomic number 10, mass number 20. Let's try po to compute. Again, protons, electrons, atomic number, they are all equal. So you have here 10 atomic number. Protons is 10, electrons is also 10. You have a given mass number of 20. So how do we get the number of neutrons, which is equating to mass number minus protons is equal to neutrons. So therefore, mass number is 20. Protons now here is 10. So 20 minus 10, we have now a neutrons of 10 for our neon. Okay, so that is how we compute the subatomic particles, atomic number, and also your mass number. Okay, we also have elements that are called as an isotopes. So they do have the same element but different neutron number. So take note, neutron number ang difference nila. Okay, for example, here hydrogen, another hydrogen, another hydrogen. Same element, hydrogen, hydrogen. Ano pa ang same sa kanila? Same atomic number, So 1, 1, 1. But since isotopes have different neutrons, kung nababago yung neutrons, it means nababago din yung mass number natin. So, aside from neutrons, isotope also have different amounts or different values of atomic mass. Such as this one. Hydrogen, this one, has 1 atomic mass. Atomic number atomic mass ng second hydrogen is 2. Atomic mass ng other hydrogen is 3. Okay. Another example, we have what we call uranium-235 and uranium-238. Since these two uranium has different number of neutrons, therefore, they would lead to different number of atomic mass as well. Okay? So other examples such as your carbon-12, carbon-13, or carbon-14. So all of this carbon has the same name, of course, same atomic number. Since they have the same atomic number, they have the same protons, they have the same electrons. Ano lang ang difference sila? Difference ay number of neutrons. Since neutron is changing for isotopes, again, neutrons, which is used to get your mass number. Mass number also is different. Okay, tandaan natin. So here we have 6 protons, but 6 neutrons, 6 protons, 7 neutrons, 6 protons, 8 neutrons. And again, mass number is equal to protons plus neutrons. So 6 plus 6, carbon-12. 6 plus 7, carbon-13. 6 plus 8, we now have carbon-14. These three are called isotopes. Okay? Kagaya din na kanina, yung tatlong hydrogen natin. Si protium, hydrogen 2 at hydrogen 3. Protium has 1 proton but 0 neutrons. Hydrogen 2 has 1 proton but 1 neutrons. Hydrogen 3 has 1 proton but 2 neutrons. But since, again, paulit-ulit sa ma'am, protons plus neutrons is equal to your mass number, therefore, 1 plus 0, you have here a protium that has 1 atomic mass. 1 proton plus 1 neutron, it has atomic mass of 2. 1 proton plus 2, it has atomic mass of actually 3. Okay, just remember that. Okay, so let's have this exercise. What is the mass number if it has 58 protons, 58 electrons, 78 neutrons? Again, mass number is just protons plus neutrons. So 58 plus neutron 78. So this is equal to 136. Another one, 17 plus 20 neutrons is equal to 37 mass number. Okay. Another question. What is the mass number and identity of the atom containing 15 protons, 15 electrons, and of course 16 neutrons? So 15 protons plus 16 neutrons, we have here mass number of 31. Okay. This one, 86 plus 136 neutrons. We have here 6 plus 6, 12, 4, 8 plus 4, another 12. So 222 mass number. Okay. So how do we identify the atom containing for this one? So Here, if it has proton number, which is also equal to atomic number. So, please find po, ano po ang atomic number na merong 15? So, it is actually phosphorus. Kung titingnan sa periodic table, it is phosphorus. How about atomic number 86? It is also actually C, radon. Okay, that is how you identify. So, check the number of protons, which is also equal to atomic number. At makikita siya sa periodic table. Okay, so this is the overall summary ng history ng atom. It's John Dalton proposed the atomic theory. He collected all the theories of other proponents and use it to identify or to clarify the definition of an atom. So J.J. Thomson, without a P, he's the one who used the cathode ray tube model and identify that there are negatively charged particles in an atom. Another one, Ernest Rutherford, he proposed that there are actually positively charged particles in an atom. And also James Chadwick, the one who proposed nuclear and also James Chadwick, he's the one that proposed our neutrons or the zero charge subatomic particle. And also we have Niels Bohr, which has the planetary model, but it is revised by Erwin Schrödinger, which we now use the quantum model. Okay, so our next topic is electron configuration. So we will discuss Schrödinger wave equation, quantum numbers, electronic configuration, paramagnetic, and diamagnetic. Okay, so Schrödinger wrote an equation that could describe both the particle and the wave nature of an electron, or how an electron moves inside an atom. So wave function describes an energy of electron with this given function. Probability of finding an electron in a volume of space. But don't worry, hindi namin kayo pagkakomputin. Okay, so next. So there are different quantum numbers in a wave equation. First one is the n, which is called as a principal quantum number or distance from a nucleus. Okay? So, the principal quantum number or the distance from a nucleus is considered or defined also as the energy levels. Okay? So, as you can see, this is the first, second, third, fourth. As you can see, distance within the nucleus. Okay? So, in writing electron configuration, there is always a number. The orbital might be SPDF, number, orbital, then of course, electrons yung nasa taas. Is how you write an electron configuration. As you can see here, 1 or the number represents the N, o yung tinatawag nating energy level. Orbital represents yung tinatawag nating SPDF. And of course, yung naka-raise na number dito means the number of electrons in an orbital. Okay, but focus muna tayo sa principal quantum number or si N natin or si energy levels. Okay, so again, the number before the orbital is what we call energy level. Ay tagtawag natin N. O si quantum number, principal quantum number. Next, we have si L, which is called the angular momentum quantum number, or describe the shape of the volume of space occupied by the electron. Okay, as you can see here, S orbital is designated as 0. Okay, P orbital is designated as 1. P orbital designated as 2. F orbital is always designated as 3. Okay, please remember that. The third one is what we call ML. Hindi po ito yung Mobile Legends ha. ML means magnetic quantum number or orientation in a space. So ML is described that S orbital always have one orbitals. Okay? Which is considered or represented only as 0. While as p orbital has 1, 2, 3. So as you can see, the first one represents this. Second represents this one. Third represents this one. So it has different orientation. So meron pa side, may another pa side, meron ding pagilid or pataas. Okay? It is represented as 1, 0, negative 1. Like this one. 1, 0, negative 1. Okay? While as d orbital, so this one, T, we have kung ang S ay isa lang, considered as zero number. P orbital has 3. And it is designated ML is 1, 0, negative 1. The orbital actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shapes or 5 magnetic quantum numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So designated yung nasa gitna as 0. Then this is 1, this is 2. So 1, 2. This is called, the ML for this one is pabaliktad naman, negative 1, negative 2. So negative 1, negative 2. Okay? While as F has actually mas madami, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the middle one is what we call as 0. Then 1, 2, 3. Then negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Okay, please remember that. These are all the ML or magnetic quantum number. Such as S is 0 only. P has 1, 0, negative 1. P has 2, 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2. F has designation of ML 3, 2, 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Okay? While MS means the spin number, spin quantum number. So how your electron actually moves. Yes, nagmo-move ang electrons natin around its axis. It's either counter, which is called as the 1/2 spin positive, or can be called as a counterclockwise, which is called as negative 1/2 spin. Okay. So how do we write electron configurations? So this is the whole electron configuration table, which is from 1s up to 7p pinakalas. How do we read? Starts with 1s, second S, Up muna tayo. Second, 2P. Then 3S. Up ulit, which is 3P. 4S. Up ulit, which is 3D. 4P. 5S. Up ulit, susunod 4D. 5P. 6S. Then up ulit, which is 4F. 5D. 6P. 7S. Up ulit, 5F. 6D. 7P as the last of the electron configuration. So, let's try ulit again. Again, what is the arrangement? 1S, 2S, then up. Okay, itong 2P. Then, yung susunod, 3S, follow the arrow. Next, up ulit, 3P. Follow the arrow. Susunod si 4S. Up ulit, which is 3D. Then, arrow. 4P, 5S, and so on. Okay, that is how you write or the arrangement of electron configurations. Also, please remember that S can only contains up to 2 electrons maximum. Okay? P, maximum 6. D, maximum 10. F, also maximum of 14. So, how do we write here? 1S, for example, 2. 1 is the, what we call N, or energy level. S, P, D, F are the orbital angular momentum. O yung tinatawag natin, this one, si L. Okay, please remember that. So, ang tawag natin siya ay orbital. And this one, naka-reason number, is the number of electrons. So again, maximum 2 kay S, maximum 6 kay P, maximum D kay 10 kay D, 14 kay F. Okay? Let's have an example. So this one. Hydrogen, atomic number is 1. Kung 1 ang atomic number, protons is also 1. Electrons is also 1. So, in drawing electron configuration, we have to distribute the electrons. So, first writing movement is 1s. Okay? Since it only has 1 electron, you write 1s1. So, that is the electron configuration for your hydrogen. Okay? Next, atomic number, aluminum is 13. So, its proton is 13. Its electron is also 13. So, we need to distribute the 13 electrons to electron configuration. So, first one is this. 1s2. Okay, again, S can only maintain maximum of 2. So, the first one is 1s2. So, 13 minus 2, we still need 11 pa. So, kulang pa. We're still lacking number of electrons. We only have 2, but we need 13. So, 13 minus 2, we still need 11 electrons. So, this 2 distribute. So, next, we use the second one. 2s2. Again, 2 electrons pa din. So, 2 plus 2. So, 13 minus this 4 electrons, you still need 9. Then, move forward tayo dito, which is 2p6. Again, 6 ang kaya ni P as maximum. So, we have 2 plus 2 plus 6. We have 10. We still have a remaining 13 to be used. Forward tayo, 3s2. Okay. Check natin kung complete na. 2 plus 2 plus 6 plus 2 electrons. So, this is already 12. Kulang pa din na isa. So, forward tayo sa 3p. At ang kulang na lang natin is 1 to make it 13. That's why it is 3p1. So the whole electron configuration for aluminum is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, and also 3p1. Okay? Let's have argon. Atomic number 18. Protons 18, electrons is also 18. Try natin mag-write ulit. Okay, so first one, si 1s2. Second, 2s2. Third is 2p6. Fourth is 3s2. So check natin to muna. 2 plus 2 plus 6 plus 2, it is actually 12. Remaining, kulang pa tayo ng 6 to make it as 18. Forward tayo sa 3p, which is, can have maximum of 6. So, 6 na lang kulang natin. Therefore, the last one is 3p6. So, this is the whole electron configuration of argon. Okay? So, by the way, we actually, pinaka-purpose talaga ng SPDF or electron configuration is to identify the location of your element. Okay, let's try this one. Aluminum is aluminum 13. It has electron configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p1. So, by the way, s orbital ay itong dalawang ito. This whole is actually the p orbital. Ito nasa gitna, this is our d orbital. Ito nasa baba, this is actually our f orbital. So as you can see here, it has 1, 2 columns representing 2 electrons. P has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns representing 6 electrons. D column has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 columns representing the d orbital, and F representing the 14 electrons or 14 columns. Okay, so first one, check the last electron configuration, which is 3p1. The energy level, which is number 3, representing p rows. Okay. The orbital representing whichever position in a periodic table. The electrons representing the columns. Okay. Represent the blocks. Okay. So the last one here is again 3p1. 3. Nasa third row daw ang aluminum. So third, isa, dalawa, tatlo. Sa third na to, nakalocate siya sa P block. Again, 3. Sa third part ng P block. So nandito siya. Pangatlong row, P block. At yung kanyang electron number is 1 column. Okay, which is here as aluminum. So you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So third row, so 3. Nasa P block position. Itong part na to, it has 1 electron. So nasa first column ang position ni aluminum. So andito siya. Okay? So madali lang ho. Okay? Next, let's have another one. How about argon? Argon has 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. Try natin. Argon has 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. The last one is 3p6. Nasa third row siya ulit. Nasa P block. So, this block na ito. But, the number of electrons is 6. So, nasa 6 column. So, try natin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, this is the position of actually argon. Okay, please remember that. But actually, electron configuration is the long cut. We have what we call the shortcut method using noble gases. Siyempre, pinahirapan ko muna kayo bago yung tatawag nating shortcut. So, as you can see here, this is aluminum. Okay. To get the shortcut, find, okay, first one, find the nearest, okay, nearest noble gas in the electron configuration. Okay. For example, is it argon or is it neon? Aluminum only has 13, therefore it cannot use argon. Okay. The nearest noble gas that is inside its electron configuration number is neon, which has an atomic number of actually 10. So again, atomic number, same as number of protons, same as well with the number of electrons. So the number of electrons of neon is actually 10. So you get the 10 electrons here, 1s2, 2s2, and the 2p6. You write here as just neon. Then you write the remaining, which is 3s2, 3p1. Okay, so this is the shortcut for aluminum. Okay. Okay, so next is Pauli's exclusion principle is that two electrons in an atom can have the same for quantum numbers. So the quantum numbers making up the electron configuration, again, energy level for your N, L representing S orbital as 0, P as 1, D as 2, F as the 3L for the angular momentum. We also have the ML, which is if you have S, you have only a 0. If it is P, we have the negative 1, 0, and 1. Kapag T, we have negative 1, 0, 1, negative 2, and 2. Pag F, mas marami, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay? And of course, the number of orbitals. Pag S, isa lang. Kapag p orbital, 1, 2, 3, it has 3. Kapag p, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it has 5. Pag F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it has 7 orbitals. Okay? And of course, your quantum numbers. Electron shell is a region of space about a nucleus that contains electrons that have approximately the same energy and that spend most of their time approximately the same distance from the nucleus. So as you can see here, ito lang yung dinidiscuss ko kanina. Energy level, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sub-level or tatawag natin sub-shells can be called as SPDF, number of orbitals. Again, ulit si ma'am. S ay isa, P has 3, D has 5, F actually have 7. And maximum number of electrons sa S can have actually here 2, pag P 6, pagka D 10, maximum, pag F 14, maximum number of your electrons. Okay? So an electron subshell is a region of space within an electron that contains the electrons that has the same energy. So electron orbital is a region of space within an electron subshell where an electron with a specific energy is most likely to be found. So again, subshells SPDF or sublevels na tinatawag. The number of orbitals is S always 1. Kapag P sa 2, 3. Pag D, 5. Kapag F, we have 7. But S contains maximum of 2. Pag P, 6. Kapag T, 10. Kapag F, 14. Actually, times 2 lang yan. 1 orbital times 2 means 2 electrons. 3 orbitals times 2 means 6. 5 orbitals times 2 means 10 electrons for your D. 7 orbitals times 2 means 14 electrons for your F orbitals. Okay? So again, ititag natin shells, electrons with the same number value of the energy. So, the energy level natin, such as this one. Okay. Subshells means the SPDF values. Orbitals corresponding to your S means, again, paulit-ulit, isa. Pag P, 1, 2, 3. Pag D, it has 5. Pag F, it has 7. Okay pa. So we have actually rules on how to write electrons inside an orbital. Okay, kagaya nito. States that no more than 2 electrons can occupy a single orbital. Okay, kada isang orbital hanggang 2 electron na. Okay? For example, S. Isa lang ang orbital ng S, kaya lang niya ay isa, 2 electrons. Pag P, it has 1, 2, 3 orbitals. At same property din by Pauli seclusion. Kada isang orbital ay 2 lang. Okay? Another orbital, 2 lang din. Okay? Bawal po sa isang box ay 3. Okay? So, polyseclusion can only contain 2. Okay? That's why sa P, the total number of electrons is actually 6. Kasi 2 plus 2 plus 2, 6. How about P? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 orbital. Each of the orbitals can contain 2 electrons. Okay, so therefore 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It has 10. Same as well with your F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 orbitals. And each orbitals contains 2 electrons. That's why in F, 7 orbital times 2 electrons, it has a maximum of 14 electrons. So another rule for the orbital diagram is the Aufbau rules na tinatawag. It means that lowest energy level should be filled before going to the next energy level. Okay, for example, this one. Carbon has atomic number of 6, means atomic number protons equals to the number of electrons also. So its electron number is also 6. So it has, 1s2, 2s2, and of course the 2p2, which is this one. Okay. For the Aufbau principle rule, you cannot write just 1 electron here, then go to the p orbital. No. Fill up first your lowest level orbital, which is the S, before you go to the last one, which is the p orbital. That is the meaning of off-poles rule. First energy level muna, the lowest, which is S, before you go to P, D, and so on. Here, we have what we call the Hans rule. Hans rule means finish first, all up per orbital, per orbital before a down electron. Okay? For example, this carbon atomic number 6 has 1s2, so therefore up. Since S has only one diagram, so isang up, isang down. Okay, another one. 2s2. So 2 electrons, so isang up, you have one up, then one down. How about here, P? You have 2p2. Okay? It is actually up, up. Okay? Hans rule. Finish all the up before down. So you cannot make a diagram here na up and down. Okay? Bawal po yan. Okay? You should make first an up electron for all of the orbitals before you go down. So, up, up muna siya. Okay? So, let's have another example. So, this one. Okay? We have a neon, we have here chlorine, 17. Okay? So, it has 17 atomic number, therefore, 17 proton. Electrons is also 17. So, let's have this. So, it has 1s2. So, 1 up, 1 half down. So, 2 electrons na po siya. Next, another one. S orbital again. 1 diagram. So, up, down for the 2 electrons. That's why 2s2. We also have 2p6. Again, p has 3 orbital diagrams. So, 1, 2, 3. So, therefore, 6 electrons. So, you are right. Up, 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 then down, down, down. So, 2, 4, 6, you have 2p6. Next, you have 3s2. So, up and down. So, for 2 electrons. And lastly, si 3p5. So, 5 electrons lang ilalagay natin for the p orbital. So, 1 up, 2 up, 3 up, then 4 down, 5 down. That's why 3p5. Okay? So, this is what we call Hans rule. Fill up first the up per orbital. So, up, 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 then the remaining down, down, making it as a 3p5. Okay? Okay, so I'll just have one example, then the rest, gawin nyo na lang sa bahay on your own as a practice for yourself. Magnesium has atomic mass 24 and also atomic number of 12. So, magnesium has atomic number is 12, therefore it is a number of protons. It is also the number of electrons, which is 12 electrons. So let's write the electron config, which is 1s2, 2s2, up. 2 plus 2, kulang pa siya to make it 12. We use 2p, try natin yung maximum, 6. 6 plus 2 plus 2, that is 10. We're still lacking 2 electrons, so therefore we use 3s2. Okay? Next, how do we write the orbital diagram? Okay. So we have S here. So one orbital. Another S, one orbital box. We have P, which is three orbital box. We have S, which is one orbital box. So your 1s2 has two electrons. So you go up, then down. 2s2, you have two electrons also. You go up, then down. Next is our 2p6. You have six electrons. So we go up, up, up. So tatlo, kulang pa na tatlo. Then we go now with down, down, down. Okay? Then lastly, we have 3s2, which is two electrons. So it means one up, then one down electron. Okay? So the rest, hindi ko nasagutan. Practice on your own. So this is an example of all the elements. Up to 19 lang yun nandito. So it's symbol, electron configuration, shortcut, atomic number, symbol. Ito. Hanggang 56 pala to. Hindi. 93 pala. Okay. Hanggang 93. So this is the shortcut. But for the exam, we will be using electron configuration long cut. Okay? Just remember that. So, last of the topic is what we call paramagnetic materials versus your diamagnetic materials. Simple lang. So, when you say paramagnetic, these are your unpaired electrons. So, like this one. This is an example of an unpaired electron which has only 2p2. So, 1, 2. So, wala siyang downward electron. Like this one naman, diamagnetic, all electrons are actually paired. We have up, 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 down, down, down. Okay? So, the up electrons also means it is the positive one half. Ay tinatawag nating spin kanina, which is your MS. Okay? So, your negative one half means the down electron position.